There are moments when you promise yourself you'll change. Tomorrow, you'll wake up early. You'll stop procrastinating. You'll finally focus. And then tomorrow arrives, and somehow you are still the same person. Not because you don't care, not because you lack discipline, but because your brain is quietly following rules you were never taught. Tonight, we're not talking about motivation. We're talking about the psychological tricks that actually work, because they work with your brain, not against it. Problem Deep Dive: The Invisible Fight. You probably know what you should do. Drink more water, study earlier, stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. Knowledge isn't the problem. Modern psychology calls this the intention-behavior gap. Your thinking brain decides. Your emotional brain votes, and most days, emotion wins. Because your brain is not designed for consistency, it's designed for survival. Thousands of years ago, survival meant conserving energy. Avoid risk, seek comfort, repeat what feels safe. So when you sit down to work and suddenly feel tired, or bored, or strangely interested in cleaning your entire room instead, that isn't laziness, it's prediction. Your brain predicts effort. Effort once meant danger, so it redirects you towards something easier: scrolling, snacking, thinking about starting later. Behavioral psychologists call this avoidance learning. You don't consciously choose distraction. Your brain quietly removes discomfort. And here's the strange part. Every time you escape effort, you teach your brain that avoidance works, like a thermostat adjusting itself slowly. Which means tomorrow becomes harder, not easier. Reframe: you are not broken. Most people secretly believe something is wrong with them. If I were stronger, if I had more discipline, if I just tried harder. But neuroscience suggests something different. Your brain runs on efficiency. It prefers familiar pathways. Imagine walking through a forest. The first time, you push through branches. The second time, it's easier. After enough walks, there's a trail. Habits are simply trails carved into neural tissue. You don't fail because you lack willpower. You fail because you're trying to walk through thick forest every morning. And here's the relief. You don't need to become a new person. You only need better trails. Psychological mechanism: the brain as a prediction machine. Your brain is less like a commander and more like a weather forecaster. It constantly predicts what will happen next. If you usually open social media when bored, your brain begins preparing dopamine before you even unlock your phone. If work usually feels stressful, your brain predicts discomfort before you begin. So motivation doesn't disappear randomly. It gets predicted away. Neuroscientists sometimes describe dopamine not as a reward chemical, but as a prediction signal. It rises when something feels achievable and collapses when something feels overwhelming. That's why huge goals often fail. Change your entire life. Wake up at 5 a.m. forever. Your brain hears impossibility. Prediction drops. Energy disappears. Not because you are weak, because your brain protects you from wasted effort. So the real question becomes, how do you change predictions? How do you make effort feel safe? The answer lies in a few psychological tricks that quietly reshape behavior. Practical framework: psychological tricks that actually work. 1. Shrink the starting line. Your brain fears beginnings more than work itself. Psychologists call this activation energy. Beginning requires uncertainty. So instead of telling yourself, "I will study for 2 hours," try, "I will open the book." That's it. Research shows once behavior begins, momentum takes over, because your brain switches from prediction mode into action mode. It's like pushing a heavy car. The hardest moment is the first inch. After that, physics helps you. Small starts bypass fear. 2. Change the environment, not yourself. Self-control is exhausting. Environment is quiet power. Behavioral psychology repeatedly shows humans follow cues around them. A phone on the desk increases checking behavior. Snacks in sight increase eating. Mess increases stress. Your brain constantly scans surroundings for shortcuts. So instead of fighting temptation internally, move it externally. Put your phone in another room. Leave your journal open on the table. Place water where your hand naturally reaches. You are not forcing discipline, you are redesigning decisions, like changing the current of a river instead of swimming harder. 3. Use identity before motivation. Motivation fluctuates, identity stabilizes. When you say, "I need motivation to exercise," your brain negotiates every day. But when you say, "I am someone who moves," the decision feels pre-made. Social psychology shows humans strongly protect self-image. We behave consistently with who we believe we are. Even tiny identity shifts matter. I am becoming someone who reads. I'm learning to focus. Notice the difference. Not pressure, direction. Your brain starts searching for proof to support that identity, and behavior quietly follows. 4. Reward effort immediately. Modern goals often delay reward. Study now, benefit later. Save money, enjoy years later. But your brain evolved in environments where reward followed action quickly. Food after hunting, warmth after gathering wood. So long delays confuse motivation circuits. Instead of rewarding outcomes, reward effort. After studying 20 minutes, stretch, drink tea, listen to one favorite song. You are teaching your brain effort equals safety, effort equals pleasure, and dopamine begins arriving earlier next time. 5. Lower emotional resistance. Most procrastination isn't about tasks, it's about emotion. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discovering limits. Psychologists call this emotional avoidance. Your brain protects identity. So before starting something difficult, name the emotion, quietly. I feel anxious about this. Labeling emotions activates regions of the brain associated with regulation. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The monster disappears once seen. You don't eliminate fear, you reduce its mystery. And mystery is what amplifies avoidance. Integration, one mental model. All of this comes down to one simple image. Imagine your brain as a river system. Water flows where resistance is lowest. You can stand in the river shouting at it, demand discipline, demand motivation. Or you can move a few stones, shrink the starting line, change the environment, shape identity, reward effort, name emotion. Each one redirects the current slightly. At first, nothing dramatic happens, but over weeks, water carves new paths, and suddenly, what once felt effortful feels automatic. That's habit formation, not force, geometry. Quiet, empowering close. Maybe the most comforting truth in psychology is this: you were never meant to rely on constant willpower. The brain prefers kindness over pressure, curiosity over punishment, small certainty over heroic struggle. Change rarely looks like a breakthrough moment. It looks like opening a book, moving your phone, taking one breath before beginning. Tiny decisions, stacked quietly. And one day, you notice something strange. You started working without arguing with yourself. You stopped reaching for distraction automatically. You became consistent without becoming harsh. Not because you finally became disciplined, but because you finally understood the rules your brain was already playing by. And when you work with your mind instead of against it, change stops feeling like war. It starts feeling like gravity. Slow, invisible, inevitable.